Welcome to Soccer As We Like It. The Man United director and deadline day. In fact, the transfer deadline has actually shut. It is done. And United at the last minute, on the very last day, as United are, lastminute.com, last minute FC, managed to get one signing over the line, Marcel Sabitzer from Bayern Munich. Joining me today is Louis, Houston Red Army, now Denver Red Army. Welcome to the show, matey.
What's going on, Big Tim?
I'm all right, bro. How are you, mate?
Good, man.
I see they got a lot of United fans sweating, fronting, checking, scrolling, Googling, doing everything. What's the latest? My phone was going off. Tim, anything new? Like, hey, we're all in this. It's like,
Yeah,
especially when they kept hearing Chelsea's are going for Enzo Fernandez, Chelsea trying to get Casidio, Chelsea trying to get. It's like, especially when you hear your opponents getting, and United are like,
right. Yeah, in typical United fashion.
hmm. So how was it for you today? What did you think of this guy,
Man,
Marcel Sabitzer?
it's a wild day, isn't it? I mean, this is something where the last time we spoke and you were asking me, are we going to get anybody? I was like, that there's no way because that's what we've come to expect, right? I think we've come to understand that our ownership is not one to open the pocketbook, splash the cash, and that kind of thing. So I mean, when they say that we're done, all hope is lost. I mean, this is obviously a different moment, like where they were forced to, right? They have the only reason that this happens is because Ericsson gets injured, and
Do you think if Ericsson wasn't injured, they would have bought this guy?
oh, there's no way.
Are you
There's
sure?
no way. I think that this was very much a panic buy. And I think it's a fantastic addition. It's Sabitzer is somebody that we've watched for a long time. I think that he has very much something to contribute. I think that with without Ericsson, I think he is a very, very solid replacement, and potentially maybe after this loan deal can be something for us, important going forward. But it's very unfortunate that we know that this is the case, right? It's unless the ownership is forced into making a change or forced into doing a little bit extra, doing a little bit more. um there has to be this kind of situation, and that's disappointing as a fan base. We already knew that we needed a midfielder. We already knew that we needed a midfielder. We probably need another right back. We know that we need players in certain key areas, and I mean, it's very unfortunate that this is where we're at.
Right, right. So United, Ericsson, we all know we got the confirmation that he will be out for 3 to 4 months. Literally, season's literally over, mate. He's not back to April, May. That season done.
Yeah, there might be. Hopefully, there's some large matches around that time that he can still be a part of. But it depends on how well we do in between, right? You know, we gotta do the deal against Forest and then have that final, but we also got to get through Barcelona to have any choice to have any chance at any late summer action. So we'll yeah, there's work to be done.
Mm, mm, mm. So United getting Marcel Sabitzer, 20. Who is this guy? 28-year-old guy, Austrian, plays
Mhm.
for Bayern Munich. Apparently, people say, oh, he wasn't able to get into the Bayern Munich team while United Bayern left over. He played in that good. If you remember that game between RB Leipzig and Ole when we got destroyed in the first 5 minutes by 3 goals down, he
Yeah,
was
I
part
think
of that team that destroyed us in that Champions League game that we needed to win under
yeah,
Ole.
that is kind of where, when I think of Sabitzer, I do think of those moments, right? I think that RB Leipzig team was clearly the best team that they've had
Yeah,
ever. I
yeah.
think that they were extremely successful. I am a very, very big fan of Julian Nagelsmann, who was around there at that time, before he left Leipzig. And this is a player that got a little bit of that, which is, that's fantastic. Um, Bayern, yeah, I think we either wish that he had more exposure there, or we wish that we signed bigger names and that kind of thing. But I think that his success is exactly what we need. I think I think he's definitely a player that steps into that middle three first team. And I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. I haven't heard anybody be completely negative about it, which is very much what I like to see. I don't like our fan base to be even more divided than it already is.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this guy, that he could play as an attacking mid, he could play as a defensive mid, he could play as a number 10. He could also play as a striker when needed. And as I watched some of his footage, he does carry very good shots. He can shoot. He has some
Yeah,
good
no,
shooting power.
definitely. Yeah, definitely he can. I think definitely we'll see him as a more of an 8 role. I think we will see him step into Eriksen's role pretty well. We know that we need another midfielder because we do need another 10, right? Bruno is basically carrying that position. He gets no rest whatsoever. And even if we do decide to push another player into that 10 role, we're pushing Bruno out to the right often. So he's, there's really no break for him. I would really like to see Sabitzer maybe step into that role and give him a break at some point. But I mean, we still need another midfielder to facilitate that. It's very, very unfortunate. If Eriksen was fit, then obviously I think he gets into that role more. But yeah, just because this deal is done out of desperation, I think we're still in a very we're in the same problem in that middle three. And
Right.
I mean, I was actually hoping that our last minute deal would have been McTominay as well. I think that there's interest for him. I think I like McTominay. I really, really do, but I think that he is not and will not reach the level that we want to be as a football club and be one of the biggest clubs in the world. And we just looking at it long term, he is past being a project for us. I think moving on is probably the best option for his career. I was really, really hoping that he would go. And I mean, look, he's one of those players that, I mean, you're not angry at him for leaving. It's not like Pogba, right? I mean, it's, when Smalling left, we were happy for him. We wanted him to do well, and he is doing well. It's one of those situations, right? I mean, but it's very much time for him. So, I mean, first thing, I mean, I wish it was that deal. Second thing, I mean, I was very, very shocked to hear that we were doing a deal at all. But yeah, desperate times.
Call for desperate measures, mate. I
Yeah,
can't wait to say.
exactly.
So, as United have signed Marcel Sabitzer, with the fixture congestion, it's literally astronomically impossible to not believe we're going to get suspended players, injured players. We've already lost Van der Beek, we've already lost Eriksen. Dalot is not back yet. So we are literally stretching. And I heard we couldn't loan out a lot of people this time because people like Elanga, who people wanted to be expected to be loaned out. Poor guy, they said, sorry, we can't let you go. We just can't, we just don't have enough. It is sad, but this is the reality of it, of what happens when you have a squad that's not deep enough. And you see Chelsea, who are 10th, just buying like it's going to have fashion. And they are so slick. They're doing this 8-year contract installment packages, whereby it doesn't affect.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's same old Chelsea, man. They're always cheating. I think I heard somebody the other day say that the Chelsea model it screams Americanism. It's such an American way of doing business. It's like, yeah, like all these Americans are just so proud of how we beat the UEFA system and the Premier League system, and we're like, oh man, it's like the thing of beauty. And it's so annoying that it's them, right? Like, I mean, why can't we be doing this undercutted shit? Like, I'm trying to get some players, man. It's I mean, but it's sneaky. It's clearly new. It's clearly, it's clearly them beating the system. But I mean, I think that there are many clubs, us, Liverpool especially, who look at that and go, God damn it, why didn't we think of that first?
Right.
Why aren't we trying those things? But I mean, when you have an ownership like ours that does kind of refuse to spend and really does try to maximize profits at every possible, it's it's hard to imagine us ever pulling something like that off. It's very sad. So hopefully in the next month or so we do have new ownership, because I mean, as we go in towards, this cup semifinal, I was watching Goldbridge today, and he's basically saying between the semifinal and the actual final, there's something like 7 games in
Yes,
that period. So I mean,
yes,
just getting your first trophy is going to be an incredible mountain to climb.
right.
And without an ownership that's willing to spend money and bring in players, I completely forgot about Donny van de Beek, first of all. But like, when you have that massive of an injury and his season is done, now you have another player with a season-ending injury. I mean, it's. I hope it's very clear to them that, I mean, that there's no coming back, and how, and I hope it is very clear how they do shoot the football in its own foot, in a sense. Yeah, I mean, not that they care, but I mean, at least I hope they recognize, like, yeah, we understand that our model is not winning trophies.
Right. So, the United have Nottingham Forest tomorrow, second leg semi-final. Obviously, Newcastle won the game, so if we, I mean, we are technically going to meet Newcastle in the final, and we have Crystal Palace on Saturday. In 2 weeks' time, we have Barcelona. In between the Barcelona first and second leg is Leicester City.
Mhm.
So then we have the FA Cup game against Rex. Who do we have? We have West Ham
Yeah,
United.
West Ham. Yeah, West
So
Ham.
there are so many tricky fixtures. Wow. So it's like Saturday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's just every 3 days there's a game. Every 3 days there's a game. Just all the way through February into March. That's it. So why these owners are, I don't know what they're thinking. I know you want to sell a club, but I would have thought, when you're trying to, it's like you're trying to sell your car. You have it on the driveway. It's dirty. It's covered in mud. The tires are green. People will not barely see the for sale sign, but when you shine it, to spray that stuff on the tires, make it look like, what I mean. And people are like, okay, I like that. I want to buy that. And the car smells nice. No, so you want to sell something? Wouldn't you try and give it the little final touch, the cherry on the cake, to get it even get it people to buy it? Like, oh, they're gonna go to they're already in the Champions League, something alone. But these guys, oh, we're selling. I'm not investing. It's like I'm selling my house. The
Yeah,
window's falling down. I'm not even gonna like even put a coat of paint on it or nothing. Like, right
yeah.
as you see it.
I think that the Glazers are. I think they're very, very good con men. I think that
Come
their
on, man.
selling point. I mean, I think their shiny selling point will be, yeah, Carrington's old and dilapidated, and the stadium's dilapidated, but they pull out a piece of paper and they say, "But this is what we made last year. Like, this was our take home." I think that
Mm.
that's very much. I think that that's very much, what they're trying to get across. And they'll be like, "Look, you'll make so much money if you buy this," and blah blah blah. And unfortunately, I think that breeds the very same kind of manager, or the same kind of ownership. Maybe next time, I think if you sell it that way, that's who you'll sell it to. Is people who just worry about the bottom line and don't understand. I think anyone who is a serious contender of buying the club, who considers themselves a fan of Manchester United, will have to go into the deal already understanding, like, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you a lot of money. Your takeaway for maybe the first couple of years is probably not going to be good. Um, and I mean, and that person has to be able to get above all the other noise of, well, Amazon wants to buy our club now. Like, that that turns people away. It's very scary to think about. Are we just trading in, one Glazer family for a new Glazer family?
I know, right? So as it stands, tomorrow United play Nottingham Forest semi-final, League Cup semi-final. What's your predicted score?
Um, Honestly, I hope that it is a difficult game for us. And what I mean by that is, I hope that we play players that are not used to getting game time, that are not, that are maybe younger, that are maybe academy products. I hope that's what, we go with. I really, really hope that we don't have another Reading situation where we do play a bunch of first team players that have not been rested and get injured. So I mean, hopefully, if we do that, I'm hoping for like even a draw or even a 1-0 kind of win.
Right.
I don't want to see a blowout. Obviously, obviously we still need to do well or to win, but I think that we have a lot of young talent and a lot of players that can come in and at least just get the job done and just see us, and just see us through.
Over the line.
I would really hope that that's what's on Ten Hag's mind. I really hope he doesn't think, well, we have to play a strong side because we want to make
Right.
sure.
We can't take that risk of playing a very strong side. We got Crystal Palace on Saturday. You know, it's a lot, mate. And when you come to think about it, we can't risk any more injuries. I mean,
Yeah,
that tackle on
yeah,
Ericsson, well, it was stupid. It was a stupid tackle.
yeah,
But
but those moments happen. Those moments happen, man. It was Andy Carroll,
Andy
right?
Carroll, that guy's
Yeah, it's a
incredible.
horrible tackle. It was really shitty, and but I mean, on our side of it is we have to deal with it. So those kind of moments happen, and and you can't predict them, and you can't just completely avoid them all the time. So
Mm-mm.
it's 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 uh it's a shame, man. It's a shame because we are playing so well and we are being so successful, and we do want to see Eric Ten Hag with some silverware in his first season and
Mm.
our first season in 5 years. It's for I think for a lot of fans that really pay attention, I think there's a lot of worried people right now.
Oh, of
Um,
course, very much so.
yeah, but at least we got something. At least we
We
got
got
something.
something better than nothing. And I mean, like I said, I think it's kind of like for like. Who knows? This loan deal, I know the option was just loan. There's no option or obligation to buy. It was just
Right.
simply a loan. But if he does well, I think he has that. It looks like he's that kind of ball kind of the engine in him. He has a good
Yeah.
engine on him. You
Yeah.
know,
Definitely.
he can keep the ball and run with the ball and pass the ball out, which your friend Scooby Doo sometimes always
Yeah. Scooby Doo.
disappears
Yeah, man. Completely.
disappears from the line of action. But I think a lot of United fans are kind of like, I won't say feel a bit of ease, like, oh, at least we got something. I think it's a case of like, oh, we got something. But because when you see Chelsea, Arsenal, Arsenal saying, they got Jorginho now. That have they got the final puzzle to now win the league officially? I was just like, come on, mate. If not because you guys had Jorginho bought him now, you guys the fans never rated him. They're not gonna say it was great, but now he's coming to us. Oh, he's gonna be great. Like, really?
Yeah. I mean, I think Jorginho was a good get, man, but
Yeah.
it's they spent a lot of money for a lot of puzzle pieces that may or may not fit together.
Mm.
And there's also a lot of speculation about Potter and how long he's going to be around.
Mm.
And apparently Mourinho wants to go back to Chelsea.
Oh, for crying
Um,
out loud, he needs to go see himself
hey man, I
down.
don't know. I don't know. These are just
That
rumors.
guy's confused. He's very confused.
Yeah.
He needs to stay where. I mean, come on,
Yeah,
really,
man.
mate.
It's definitely it's an interesting situation for them, but it
Because
is.
he wants to go back because he sees somebody who's ready to spend money. Because
Yeah,
he
exactly.
likes them.
Like, look, that's. I mean, that's got to be a try. I wouldn't be surprised if the rumor pops up around if we get sold as well. I think that if we find new ownerships that that looks like they're willing to spend money the way Chelsea is clearly willing to spend money, you do get those kind of rumors and you get those kinds of offers. So I mean, I don't know how I would feel about having Mourinho back. I mean, I'm still kind of accepting him after his first time around. But um, but I mean, gosh, it's yeah, it's there's a jealousy definitely when you look at Chelsea. I think
of course, if
yeah.
any United fan who says, "Oh, I don't care what Chelsea did," is fooling themselves.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. No,
Without a doubt. You were
yeah,
hoping the deal didn't go through. We're hoping the Enzo Fernandez one. You're thinking, all right, if he don't go through, other clubs could get him in the summer, or United might have new ownership and get him. But they still got it over the line in the. I said, Jesus, these guys are
Yeah,
serious, mate.
the money that they spend has the potential to pull them out of the situation where they are now,
Yes,
and then
yes.
maybe in a year's time or 2 years' time, they very well could be Premier League contenders. So
Yep.
I mean, it's something for us to definitely take notice of, and to be concerned about, and at the same time just be fucking jealous, man, because god damn it, why is nobody spending that money here?
I know, right? So I would think Marcel's first game probably be Crystal Palace. Maybe he'll spend the next couple of days training with the team
I would
tomorrow.
think he's definitely, yeah, he's clearly not playing tomorrow.
No way.
Crystal Palace, that might be soon.
Too soon, you
Um,
think?
that might be soon, but I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'd rather play him than McTominay, but I mean, I don't trust McTominay a lot right now. I would definitely, if he does play, I would definitely like him to see him go maybe 45, maybe 60 minutes, and
Right.
then we have to kind of defer to
Yeah.
one of our backups, one of our well-respected, well-trusted McFreds.
Oh, he scored a brilliant goal on Saturday.
What's that?
You saw the goal he scored on Saturday against Reading in the FA
Oh
Cup.
yeah.
That
Oh
little
yeah.
back flip.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the samba movement on Saturday.
Yeah,
The samba beat.
you gotta think that Fred is such a nice person, like in real life. Like I bet he's just all smiles and just
Yeah,
like
sound like a nice guy.
I bet he's just the nicest freaking guy. Like I would love to hang out and play, like have a five-a-side with Fred. I bet that would be so much fun.
He looks
But
nice.
yeah, man, he's not. I can't call him the future of Manchester United.
Right. So, I mean, do you honestly think this guy's gonna do well? What's your what's your gut feeling?
I think that I am optimistic. I think that he can offer as much, if not more, than Ericsson has offered us. I think that
Oh, wow.
I do. I think that he's a
You're the
very
second person I've spoken to today who said they think Sabitzer could offer more than Ericsson.
The only reason I say that is because Ericsson, even though he's not much older, is slightly older, and the heart condition is still. I mean, it's still a factor. It's still very much the elephant in the room. I'm sure he's fine. I hope that he's in good health in that aspect. But I mean, it's how much longer can you go as a professional footballer in a midfield box to box role that is a very physical role, and we ask a lot of this player. How much longer does Ericsson have to give us? We've known that we are going to have to replace this player at some point. We knew it when he came into the team that eventually, he's going to run his minutes for us. So I'm optimistic about Sabitzer. I think that he offers a similar role, and I think that he can do it well. I'm hoping that he can do it well. Because I
All
mean,
right.
I was a big fan of Leipzig, man, when they were doing well.
Right, yeah, they were
Was a
the
big
only
fan of
team.
Nagelsmann. I wanted them I wanted them to go far, and I wanted them to win a championship. I was very much rooting for them in the like 2-3 seasons that they were doing really, really
Yes,
well.
they were consistent. They were consistent, and
Yeah,
they
I
were the
mean,
only team really giving Bayern Munich a run for their money.
yeah, his background is a solid background. So I mean, I am hopeful. But we'll see what he does. Hopefully against Palace. If not against Palace, maybe in the who's
We've
follows
got
Palace
Leeds
directly
in the
behind Palace.
midweek. I think
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
Leeds.
Well, Leeds. I mean, hopefully they don't freaking have Weston McKennie by that point. Goddamn.
I know, right?
Yeah, dude. It's an American free for all over there, man. I'm loving it. Leeds is having a great time right now. But yeah, very, very hopeful.
Okay. Louis, it's been an absolute pleasure talking about Marcel Sabitzer United's last minute, last deal, deadline day. Got it over the line. But what fans are still saying, could United have got him as an addition? But just because Ericsson is injured, United got him. But only time will tell. But from the poll I carried out, 80% said it's because Ericsson was injured. That's why United were reactive and not proactive. So because they knew Eric Ten Hag, listen, and they just did what they have to do. Well, absolutely. Well, Louis, we'll see you again. We'll probably try and catch up with you again to tomorrow to talk about how United did in the semi-final, second leg tomorrow, and they're going to Wembley. And it looks like they're going to be meeting Newcastle now. That is going to be a tough game. That's end of February.
Tough game, very tough game.
Most United fans wanted to play one in Southampton rather than Newcastle.
Oh, definitely.
You can only be who they put in front of you. Louis, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Glory, glory. Man United. See you tonight, brother. You take care of yourself.
Thanks, Tim. Good night.
Good night, bro.